What is going on? This is Tone, and today I actually wanted to share with you a cool tool that I found to help you when you start designing and building your own aircraft. Now, I've been thinking a long time about purchasing a couple of other aircraft and all that kind of stuff, and the more I go back and forth to this, which is essentially what this channel is about, the more I'm like, why am I going to spend so much time and effort and money on buying pre-built aircraft that if I crash them, then I'm going to end up having to buy another whole aircraft when I can continue to build with foam, and if I crash it, I can redesign or rebuild it or make improvements to the aircraft myself. And so, as you know, I've been talking about it. I've actually got my aircraft back in the corner that I'm working on, and it's going to be a pretty large aircraft. And essentially, I basically just started with a wing and started designing the wing. So, and let's jump over to the screen here, and I can show you what I'm talking about. So, if we go over to the computer screen over here, and we jump into Onshape. So essentially, I actually started designing this plane from the wing. And the reason why I started with the wing is because I actually have a plan that was provided to me for a trainer, the trainer that I actually learned to fly on from our club president. He actually designed it for the club as the club trainer. And I think it was awesome, and I was trying to build something like it. So essentially, the wingspan on this guy is basically the same. So this is basically what the club plane plans kind of look like, and he had some dimensions in here for the wing, and I actually took that information and started working on my own design for the wing, which is what you see here. Now this wing, if I take off the foam board skin here, and that's what I'm doing, and this is in Onshape. Like I said, I designed it myself. These ribs are I designed and 3D printed, and each one of these ribs is about 5 millimeters thick, and I've 3D printed a ton of these. And then this is the carbon fiber rod that runs through that. This basically a Walmart bow and arrow rod that I chopped the ends off of, and each side of my wing is 28 inches. And then this is basically an extremely or very long craft barbecue skewer that's long enough to give me over 28 inches, and I chopped the ends off of that as well. And then I use that to design the wing. So my wing is actually relatively heavy. Now I made a tip in for to 3D print for the wing over here, but I actually did not do that. I just covered it with foam, save a little bit of weight, and then I took the same interior. So my wing does not have dihedral, and I extended it. I want to say it's extended. It's probably 50 millimeters wide, and then I took out some material to make it lighter, and then that serves as a joiner. The ribs actually slide into that. So this wing is reinforced all the way down the wing, which of course also adds just a little bit of weight. So in the process of, and I was actually trying to figure out how to do the fuselage and all that, and decided to go right now with a tube fuselage from Experimental Airlines channel, and that's what my plane currently looks like. I'm going to be working on, and the tail is relatively long and whatnot. I'm going to be working on putting landing gear on it. Right now, I'm estimating this plane to be around 2,000 grams, which is a little bit over 4.5 pounds total. And that's all up weight with the battery included, everything complete. So that's what I'm estimating, or essentially that's my budget for weight is 4,000 grams, 2,000 grams, excuse me, or 4 to 4.5, a little bit over 4.5 pounds. And so with that information, you can use a tool like this, which is eCalc, and I actually have a membership for. So you can use it for free, but if you want to, you get a few additional things, and you get a few additional tweaks and things that you can do if you get the full version. But I have signed up for the subscription myself, And this is a phenomenal tool, but it's got a lot of information in it. And I had no idea how to use that information. So I wanted to share this tool with you today. And I apologize, it's taking me a little bit to get to it, but I wanted to share this tool with you today. You can go to it yourself and check it out. I don't know who actually put this together, but it's just awesome. Gives you so much information, and I'm going to demonstrate it just a little bit for you using something that we already know. So, something that we already know is something that I already know, should I say, is the FT Tutor. So the FT Tutor, if you get the plans, which I have the plans for the FT Tutor, and of course I have a tutor that I fly, and I thought, I don't understand totally how to use eCalc in order to come up with a design that I want. And so what's the best way often to figure out how to do something? And that's reverse engineering. So that's exactly what I did. I took the general specifications. I was sitting there looking at the plans and realized that they had much of what was necessary for me to be able to put together a plane and be able to fly it. I was like, they have so much of what it is I need. So if you wanted to get the information, it's right there. So you got your wingspan, wing area. And what you can do in model weight, your general weight in grams is here. And let's see, your all up weight is 771 grams. So if you want to figure out how this works for you, we're going to plug in the information real quick so that you can take a look at it and see what it does. So it actually converts the grams to ounces for you. So it converts between the two. So if you know inches, put your inches in. If you know millimeters, put millimeters in. So our length is, let's see, wingspan is what we're looking for, is 41.5 inches. So if we put 41.5 in here, it gives us 1054.1. They have 1055, so they've rounded up just a little bit. If you got your wing area information, and I had to figure out how to calculate wing area, 357. And so 356.5, 357 is what they have. Okay. And then max discharge, we're going to that in a minute. Field elevation. This stuff here, you can kind of try to calculate if you know the area that you're going to fly, if you know what the field elevation and the essentially around about what your air temperature is and pressure. And I would actually try to calculate that as to where it is that you're going to fly. We're going to leave it as it is, but I would do that. So battery. So if you're going to, if you know what battery you're going to use, and this one uses a 1300 milliamp hour 3S LiPo. So we're going to put in here, we can't find 13, so we're going to go ahead and pull up, we're going to put in 1200 milliamp hours. Yes, it's essentially close enough. A 3S battery. Now that 1P, I am not sure what that 1P is. If you're watching, you know what that is. You can let me know. At least I can't think off the top of my head what it is. So your cell capacity is 1200 here. Just using this tool is going to get you in the ballpark, and then you can do some tweaking once you get there. Your controller type, so our ESC on this guy, it has a 30 amp ESC. I'm trying to remember which one I actually have in mind. So Hobby Wing is one that I use a lot. 30 amp continuous, 35 max, and maybe 30 amp 4S. Okay, that's fine. So that's what they're actually, they're actually using a 35. So we're going to go with 40. 35 amp. So if I'm going to actually buy a receiver, a ESC for this particular plane, I'm probably going to go with a 40. I realized that for me, for the plane that I'm building, I have to go with a 60 amp ESC for the amount of power I'm trying to put through this guy and for the flight time I'm trying to get out of it. I'm trying to remember what the gauge is on that motor extension wire. We're going to leave it the way it is. And then we'll go to motor. Now the motor they're asking for, and what I'm using is the motor I'm using is a Sunny Sky. So that's the motor that I currently have in my FT tutor. So we're going to go with them. See if I can find it. And they should be in alphabetical order. Now you're not going to always be able to find every single motor type and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to be able to find them all. But I'm going to go with a 1250 because I think that's going to give us more similar result. And then well, let's see what else we have here. Prop type. So I'm going to go with custom. I'm going to leave that degree at 0, but my diameter, what they have listed is 9, and millimeter is 4.5, 9 inch, and at 4.5, 2-bladed, and that's it. So from here we can hit the calculate. Now again, I basically kind of winged it all the way through this. If you have better and more accurate values, you can use that. But if you don't, this should give you an idea of what type of electronics that you want to use or purchase for your plane. Now, if you already have the electronics, try to get as close to the value of that information as possible, because what that may end up telling you is for the size of your plane, you're either going to have to reduce the weight of your plane or you're going to have to purchase other electronics to go with it to fly it. So let's go ahead and hit calculate, and we should have everything in the green. So what we have here is the load and your mixed flight time, and that's in minutes, and we're looking at just over 5 minutes of flight time, so you're probably going to be safer flying around 3. Temperature, thrust to weight ratio, so you should be in the green for this, which is good, and your pitch speed, and you should be good there. And then again, it gives you a lot of additional information down here. Now, I can't tell you that I understand all of it. I do. If I dig into it a little bit, I'll understand quite a bit. But it gives you a ton of information. Not only that, it gives you some curves down here that you can take a look at. Now, if you click Easy View, it comes to your propeller calculator. Field elevation, all that kind of stuff. You still have your battery, normal 3S, 85%. Hobby wing, fun fly. So you can choose your type of ESC, and then your controller or ESC is the Hobby Fun Fly 40 amp 6S. So it can handle, this ESC can handle up to 6S, essentially is what that means. Manufacturer, Sunny Sky, you got that. Medium, generic, normal, diameter, pitch, blades. And then you can hit calculate here, and it's going to give you a lot of information there as well. Your pitch speed is a little low according to this, so you may want to go in there and make some adjustments. But essentially what I've been able to do is use this in order to get a good feeling for how well I've actually done as far as calculating the right motor, the right ESC, essentially for the plane I'm flying, because those are the two main things that you want to make sure you get right for the size of plane that you're flying, and the weight and the amount of flight time that you want to get out of it. That is something that you're going to want to make sure that you have the information for. Now, the other thing that I think is great about this is because it actually allows you to calculate a ton of different things. So like, you can put in the shape of your wing, the length of your aircraft, all of that, and be able to get your CG based on the wing type that you're using. Your wing root chord and tip chord. I mean, if you have all that information, it will tell you what your center of gravity is, and I've already been able to calculate that as well for the plane that I've been working on. So this is just a fantastic tool, and I really, if you're working on building planes, or if you built some already, you already know what size motor you've put on them, you already know, I would suggest going into this tool and using it to try to understand or see how these calculations come out, so that you can then use that information to design future aircraft and build future aircraft, knowing that you have the right size motor, knowing that you have the right size ESC, and knowing that you have your center of gravity set pretty accurately, and that you're going to be able to have essentially a successful flight, barring any unknown or unforeseen issues within the build process itself. So I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that this helps you in some way. I think this is a fantastic tool, and I kind of wanted to go through and share it with you the way I did, because I had some trouble. I've had this tool for a year and just could not wrap my brain around how it worked, until I came up with the idea of taking the FT Tutor from the plans and just going ahead and plugging the numbers in and getting that information back. And then from there I get to see, oh, this is how this works. This is how these, and to me it's phenomenal, because I actually realized that I actually had too small of a motor and ESC for the plane that I'm building. So now I have new motor and ESC. I'm gonna swap those out. And I'm also going to try to see what I can do to lighten the plane up just a little bit, but I know I need to stay under 2,000 grams for it, and it should be able to fly, and should be able to fly pretty stably. With that, I hope that this helped you in some way. I really do. And I'm really looking forward to using this tool, and actually, hopefully, with this new added information, it's taken a little bit of the fear out of the build itself for me. So I'm hoping that I'll get this plane finished up pretty quickly and get it out to fly, and hopefully share the maiden with you as well. So thank you so much for coming by again and checking this out with me. I really appreciate you. Have an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you again in a future video.